Hello everyone and welcome. I believe we have found something never before seen in Breath of the Wild, specifically the 2014 beta. After seeing the 8K 60 frames per second versions of the Breath of the Wild 2 trailers I uploaded, thanks to an advanced AI enhancement which greatly increased the resolution, detail, and frame rate, a lot of you asked that I do the same with older low-quality Zelda betas or demos. And yes, this is actually the enhanced 4K version of the gameplay. I know it doesn't look that great, but many of you probably remember the low-quality gameplay being recorded off of a TV turned sideways, and so far away from the camera it was likely close to 240p, the same resolution as the 3DS or the Nintendo 64. That is what I had to work with, which I'll explain that process after these golden beta shrines and other details. Before Breath of the Wild had the shrines we are all familiar with, they had several other designs for the inside and outside. From giant, breathtaking entrances, which we would expect for a traditional dungeon, to entrances that looked closer to the giant pillars in front of the castle. We also have giant monuments or statues that also doubled as an entrance. These shining golden entrances, many designs resembling the final version, and I'm sure Nintendo had plenty of others as well. In this video, I want to focus on the golden shrines, which I believe would have looked completely different on the inside as well. Presumably, these golden areas that look more like traditional dungeon rooms, and less like the same blue Guardian aesthetic we are used to. It is incredibly hard to tell with the original gameplay, but in this enhanced version, at a few specific points, we are able to see these golden beta shrines off in the distance. At first, it was a slightly golden shine that caught my attention and made me zoom in. At the time of release, fans wouldn't even know what a shrine in Breath of the Wild looked like, or was even meant to be. So seeing what would have been a slight muddy blur in the original gameplay would have been passed off as a bush, house, or some other random thing. After looking into it, I believe these are the beta golden shrines, and yes, they are in the same location as shrines from the final game. Aonuma seems to even tease us of their importance by aiming straight towards it with a bow. We also have similar Sheikah towers to what also appears in the concept artwork. While we don't know if the gauge or bar below our hearts in the beta gameplay is meant to be for magic, shield durability, item durability, stamina, or whatever else, the concept art for the Golden Room also features one, though this one is specifically for your shield. Both versions of Link seem to have the same type of lighting, shading, and overall look for his champion tunic, which to me is slightly different than what we see in the final game. So in my opinion, this adds a bit more validity to Nintendo using this version of the shrine's dungeons and shrine entrances during the 2014 beta. It's interesting to note that Miyamoto also refers to dungeons during this gameplay reveal.
So how far away is our destination from here?
Well, it'll still take about 4 or 5 more minutes, I suppose.
This looks a bit suspicious. We must be near a dungeon.
If you're a fan of Zelda videos like this, or Zelda Theory's top 10s and discussion videos, please consider subscribing and even checking out our podcast, the Hylian Gamescast. Thank you. So what was the 2014 beta? Well, long before Breath of the Wild's 2017 release, it was originally meant to release in 2015, not that long after Majora's Mask 3D and Star Fox Zero.
Are you sure that this will be released next year?
Yes. All of the staff members are working together and doing their best. By the way, Mr. Miyamoto, how about your Star Fox title?
What? Star Fox? You're asking me that now? No worries about Star Fox.
Oh, that's good news.
Star Fox will arrive before The Legend of Zelda next year. The way it uses the gamepad is really starting to feel good.
Oh, but before that comes out, we'll release Majora's Mask.
Right you are.
But it would receive multiple delays and many changes. One of the first gameplay clips shown by Nintendo was of this 2014 beta during the Game Awards. However, it was kind of hard to notice much detail, as you can see. Many factors played against it to bring its quality down. It was revealed during a live stream. The gameplay wasn't natively recorded. Instead, it was on a TV, angled to the side, and taking up only a small portion of the screen. Since the video camera and gameplay were at different frame rates, we also see a lot of blurry interpolation. Even the Wii U gamepad screen is shown to take up most of the screen at one point, a lot more than the actual gameplay. Maybe Nintendo were purposefully trying to obscure the game though. To fix the gameplay, which was basically 240p or lower, I zoomed in on the TV, corrected the aspect ratio, made the sides equal, ran it through the same video enhancer AI as the Breath of the Wild 2 trailers I enhanced to 8K and 60 frames per second, and here we are. Now please note, you can clearly see how much better the AI enhancement is when you're not working with gameplay that's squished and blurred, combining frames and many other things. If there is an old trailer, gameplay clip, tech demo, or anything that you would like to see enhanced, similar to the Breath of the Wild 2 trailers, please let me know.
Okay, so today, why don't we show a glimpse of how the new Zelda game is shaping up?
Sure.
Oh, and it looks like it's sunset already. So we must be looking to the west.
Right. I wanted everyone to see how beautiful this scene is with the setting sun.
Oh wow, he's climbed way up high.
Yes. Since this is such a huge world, we're making a number of high places that offer great views.
So now you could decide where to go to from here.
Right.
You can see so far.
This is a good place to look around from. And if you see, say, a suspicious-looking tower in the distance, you might decide to head there.
Right.
And then you saw that flash there?
Whoa, he set a new type of beacon.
Yes, and now the corresponding place is also marked on the map. Since Link is here now, this is the distance he needs to traverse.
You can also zoom in from here, right?
You can, by tapping here, and you can also zoom out, and further out.
That's a huge world.
We haven't even seen the whole world yet.
This must be the edge of the map. How far are we from here to the edge of the map?
Yeah, it would take a very long time for Link to walk. But anyway, why don't we try to go to the point that we marked on the map? Let's go.
Whoa, a few. Good to know he had the sailcloth.
Right, it played an important role in Skyward Sword. Now, it'll be a bit hard to reach our destination on foot, but luckily, here we have a horse.
Oh, Epona, long time no see. This is a densely wooded area.
Yet, I'm hardly touching the control stick.
You're not touching it.
Yeah, and I won't hit any trees. Real horses don't run into trees very often.
Well, that seems natural.
We're working on details like that.
And now that your hands are free, you can do a variety of things on the horse.
Yes, you can freely change the camera angle, for example. And you can swing a sword like normal. And shoot arrows.
You can take time to aim now.
Why don't we go to a place where we can aim at enemies with these arrows?
There's insect and animal life as well. I saw apples growing here the last time.
Yeah, you can pick and eat them.
This looks a bit suspicious. We must be near a dungeon.
In places like this,
I knew
you
it.
tend to run into these guys.
Oh, another one there. All right. Oh, I heard a metallic sound.
That sound tells you that your arrow has hit the right spot and damaged your enemy. And then in situations like this,
You can vault off the horse.
yes, while jumping, you can shoot arrows.
I see. And you're in slow motion while jumping off the horse.
Yes,
Wow, easier to aim. So how far away is our destination from here?
yeah, well, it'll still take about 4 or 5 more minutes, I suppose.
4 or 5 minutes more. Are you sure that this will be released next year?
Yes, all of the staff members are working together and doing their best. By the way, Mr. Miyamoto, how about your Star Fox title?
What? Star Fox? You're asking me that now? No worries about Star Fox.
Oh, that's good news.
Star Fox will arrive before The Legend of Zelda next year. The way it uses the gamepad is really starting to feel good.
Oh, but before that comes out, we'll release Majora's Mask.
Right you are. We've made a number of adjustments to Majora's Mask, and it now feels pretty good on 3DS.
Yeah, we made it easier to play without altering the feel of the original game.
And we've worked on some places where we felt improvements were necessary.
That's right, after 10 years no less.
It's taken 10 years, but the 3-day system is intact. And it's so accessible, you could even play while chatting like this. Well, that's all for now. Thank you for watching.
And of course, I want to give a huge thank you to all of our Patreon supporters who give us video ideas like this, some of our Zelda theory, top 10 list, and discussion topics that we discuss on our podcast or other videos. If you would like a shout out at the end of all of our videos or the beginning of our podcast, the Hylian Gamescast, as well as any of the other benefits mentioned. So thank you Jon Snow, ZAIN, FRAN, WIGGLYWIGGLE, NORNARB or Brandon, SOBERX, Mr. MONOCLED, METROID, Jen, SuperNX64, David, Zoe, Natsu, Jessie, ANDREMOI, Ashton, Justin, Candy, Chad, BKRS7, Larulian Sheep, Largnar, Monica, Shadow to Us, Rusty, Lovable Christy, Henry, and of course, Gus. Thank you all so much.